Number 12 then, the last question in paper 1 of this new higher specimen paper. Well, what's it got? You've got this trigonometrical expression. It's just a sine curve basically. And the first part says what's the period of it. Now don't get put off with voltages and times and so on. It's just an equation. And the period means how long it takes to repeat itself. Because that's just, what would the graph of that look like? It's just a sine, so it starts here. It goes up and down 120 and it finishes somewhere. And the period is simply how long it takes, because that's the time axis this time. And that was the voltage. It's just like x and y though. How long it takes to repeat itself. Well, the sine will repeat itself when the angle it's acting on completes itself. It will complete itself once 100 pi times t assumes the value of 2 pi. Once you've got the sine of 2 pi, you're done. So, when does that equal 2 pi? So t will be 2 pi divided by 100 pi. So t will be, cancel that down, 1/50th. We'll just leave it like that. So 1/50th of a second. And of course, if you did physics, you would recognise that's the correct answer, because you know that the frequency for a domestic alternating current is 50 Hertz, which is what that is. Now part B, find the first 3 times for which this voltage will be negative 60. Oh, negative 60, that's down about here. Well, there's the first 2 times, so I'm just going to need a part of the next wavelength, not all of it, it's just the next one over here. Notice, since you've already worked out what the period was, the period was 1/50th of a second. That means to go from this point to the corresponding point in the next wavelength, it should take a 50th of a second. So once you've worked out these two, just add a 50th to this, and it'll give you that one. You could do it that way, but still the first part's going to be, how can I find t? Well, when does this equal that? When does 120 sine 100 pi t equal negative 60? I want t, so I'm just going to get rid of all the bits and pieces. So first of all, get rid of the 120. Sine 100 pi t is 120, that makes that half. That's handy because I know that one. So that means 100 pi t will be, will I write it down? I've done it now. Inverse sine of negative a half. Now you know that. If you don't remember it, put down the little triangle. 1, 2, root 3. Remember that's 60. Probably remember it in degrees first of all. 30, that's the pi upon 6. So sine a half opposite the 30, so that's pi upon 6. Not this one though, it's this pi upon 6 here. So you'd probably do it with your cast diagram, I'm guessing. All sine tan cos. The sine's negative, so you're going to be in one of these quadrants. The angle will either be round here or all the way around here. That's where you're going to place that pi upon 6. So the 2 answers you get from this, to begin with, would be halfway around pi. It'll be pi plus pi upon 6, and all the way around, minus it, 2 pi minus pi upon 6. Now I could just go ahead and work out my answers, and then to the final answer for this part add on a 50th, or I could say let's just go a little bit further, because I know that I can bring in the next wavelength. Strictly speaking, these answers just now go on forever. You can add onto them, you can add as many lots of 2 pi as you like, because it just keeps repeating itself. But I know I don't need to add on too many. I can just add on the next one. So the next one after this would be 2 pi later on. That would be 3 pi plus pi upon 6. That's just that jumped forward to the next wavelength. I'll need to tidy this lot up though. So that's 7 pi upon 6. That's 12 take away 1 is 11 pi upon 6. And that's 18 plus 1 is 19 pi upon 6. Then finally, to get t, divide by 100 pi. It's kind of nasty to show that because I'll be writing 7 pi upon 6 all over 100 pi. But we're just thinking, well, divide by pi first, we'll knock out all the pi's. Divide by 100, we'll just make the denominators into 600s. So we've got 7 over 600, 11 over 600, and 19 over 600, all in seconds. The alternative to adding on that next wavelength would be simply to say the next one after that would be this one plus the period of a 50th. That's 7 over 600 plus a 50th. To make that into 600, I multiply by 12. So it's 12 and 7, which makes 19.